there are certain parts of the application. There will be times that you will need to check whether the user is logged in or not before the required data is fetched and displayed, or before allowing a user to perform some kind of an operation. Okay, I'm setting the context of a piece of code here. So there will be times within a software you will want to check if the user is logged in. If he is logged in, then allow him to access that particular part of the software. Best example is your mail system, Gmail. If you want to access your emails, you're expected to be logged in. If you want to send an email, you're expected to be logged in. If you want to delete an email, you're expected to be logged in. Isn't it? There will also be other types of applications where a certain part of the software, when you're using it, they don't expect you to be logged in. But there are other parts of the software, when you try to access it, you're supposed to be logged in. Typically, these are all the consumer-based softwares. A good example here is going to be an e-commerce store. Now, if you want to look at the product catalog, if you want to see some product that you want to buy, they don't expect you to be logged in. Whether you're logged in or not logged in, they will give you that information. Isn't it? But if you want to see whether what is the status of your order, you placed an order yesterday, is it going to be delivered today? Is it going to be delivered tomorrow? Then you're supposed to be logged in. You're expected to be logged in because the system needs to know who you are. Just like how Gmail needs to know who you are, depending on that, they will be able to fetch all the emails and display it to you. Similarly, in an e-commerce store also, if you want to see your order details and the order status, you're supposed to be logged in, because then they will be able to figure out who the user is and get that specific kind of data and then display it to you. It could also be updating your profile information. It could be also updating your banking information on an e-commerce store. These are all the places where you're supposed to be logged in. Now, what are we looking at here? We are looking at a certain type of a functionality that is expected to be happening multiple times at different parts within an application. Isn't it? Something like, is the user logged in or not? In different parts of an application, I will need to know. While I'm reading my email, is the user logged in? While I'm sending an email, is the user logged in? While I'm deleting an email, is the user logged in? That means to say, this logic of is the user logged in or not is supposed to be executed at different parts of our application. One approach that we can consider is write the same logic every single place, which is not a good idea. I'm sure you guys already realize it's a very bad idea to rewrite the same line of code multiple times. But instead, what we can do, that logic of determining if the user is logged in or not can be written once, and then wherever within our application we want to use, we can just, what can I do? Very good. We can just call that particular function, invoke that particular function, reuse that particular function. Is this making sense? Now you're getting a bigger picture of the importance of functions, isn't it? Okay, great. So what you're looking at is basically purely JavaScript code. This is the backend code of Node.js. So here there is a function called as authenticate user. right? This happens to be the logic to check if the user is logged in or not. It is roughly around 14 lines of code. Again, further, it is broken down into 17. Roughly around, you have to write 30 lines of code to check whether a user is logged in or not. Now, keep in mind reusability. I've written the logic only once. I can now use this particular logic wherever I want within my application. If I'm not using it inside a function, this lines of code has to be repeated in multiple places, which is not good, right? But now what has happened is I've just written the code in one single place. And now what I can do is wherever within our application, we want to check whether the user is logged in or not. We can now just call that particular function. Now you can see here is an example where maybe I have to move myself a little down. Here is an example where to get all the list of customers, the user should be logged in. If the user wants to create a customer, he should be logged in. If he wants to get one single customer information, he should be logged in. If he wants to update a customer information, he should be logged in. If he wants to destroy a customer, he should be logged in. Similarly, when it comes to employees, you can see code reusability. Okay, just focus on this. I've just highlighted. See how many times that particular function has been reused within our projects. Does this show you the importance of what functions are and why functions? Yes.